Just cracking down with the COVID-19 pandemic underway, and a lot of events had to be delayed, postponed here. But we're talking about some big events in some folks' lives that they will never forget. We're talking about your wedding and how you can still make plans for that upcoming wedding. And joining us right now from Burkett Entertainment and Eden Event Planning is Mariah Burkett via Skype right now. Good morning, Mariah. How are you this morning?
I'm good. We're doing things a little bit differently these days, huh?
That's what I understand. This is like our new norm, but there are some things that we need to consider, some things that we really need to take into account, because if you planned on getting married, this spring or summer, you should still plan on getting married, but you just have to maybe do so in a little bit different things. What are some of the things we need to keep in mind to make sure these game plans still move forward?
Yeah, so we're seeing a lot of different things coming out of weddings these days. People are getting pretty creative and pretty unique. I just want to remind brides and grooms and couples that, you have to consider your own personal circumstances. Just because one couple is okay with just doing them and the officiant so they can keep their date doesn't mean that that's what's going to be right for you. It's okay that you want grandma and grandpa and everybody there, and it's okay to push your date out if you need to. A lot of people are getting creative, and if you want it to just be you and your groom, then that's okay too. You can certainly make that work in these times. Nobody planned for this. This is not something you could have included in your plans when you started planning, for sure.
Right, but it's still a doable thing. You can still plan on having a wedding. You just maybe need to shift gears a little bit, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's all in what's important to you. What do you find value? Do you think that it's important to have a big party afterwards, or, to have all your family and friends there? If that's what's important to you, then yes, you should still plan to do that. Just push it out farther for everybody's safety.
Now let's try to understand the impact this is having on the whole wedding industry right now, and maybe individuals' wedding plans. What kind of effect is this having?
It's pretty huge, because when you think of how many people are getting married, when you think of wedding season, you really think about this time. You want a spring wedding, a summer wedding. This is like prime time for weddings. And it's not something that you can just drop of a hat change, because you have so many guests to consider, and you have all of these other things, factors that you have to reschedule, like your vendors. So it's not something at the drop of the hat you can just say, oh, no, I don't want to get married tomorrow. Let's push it out because this COVID thing is still going on. That's just not an option. And then as far as the impact, your contracts and things, you really want to read through those, but understand that the contract that you have in your hands doesn't take into account for a pandemic, because no vendors were expecting this either. So just make sure you read through and you reach out to your vendors. It's so important that you're in contact with these people at this time. They're all helping other couples guide through this as well. So, it's really important that you're in contact with them.
Mariah, what has been the general feeling of the vendors that when bride and groom contact the vendors, what is their take on the most part?
Oh my gosh, I feel like Iowa vendors are so amazing. Everybody has been so gracious and kind, and they're all going through this together as well. But everybody has been so open to rescheduling, and things that I'm reading online on Facebook from brides, they've said, all of our vendors have been so open with us. You do have to give them some grace too. They're all getting all of these emails as well to reschedule, but anybody that I've talked to has been so open and just working with people, and it's been really kind of a cool experience to watch all these wedding people come together. Now,
Mariah, is June still the big month for weddings of the entire year, or is it pretty spread out throughout the rest of the year?
I would say June's a pretty big month. June, and it seems like October, it seems to be a big month too. But June is a big month.
Now, do you ever anticipate venues, because there are some really prime venues that are not able to do weddings, for the last couple of weeks, and are not going to be able to do weddings for the next month or two. Do you think that they're going to end up having morning weddings and then evening weddings and doubling up in that case just to accommodate everybody?
Yeah, I think we're going to see some interesting things come, especially with venues and having to reschedule people. But a lot of the venues that I work with do keep open dates for their brides that do need to reschedule. So that's kind of a cool thing as well. I think what you're going to see mostly is that people are pushing it into 2021. So those 2021 brides and grooms, people that were already planning for next year, make sure that you have your, everything in order, because, you got some of these 2020 brides and grooms that are going to be pushing it into the next year.
Okay, so, as an expert, I'm just wondering, we're talking about sporting events, trying to make up ground, and they plan on having sporting events earlier in the week or midweek. Do you anticipate any weddings maybe midweek, like a Wednesday wedding?
Yeah, it's possible. I don't know that that'll be a trend. From what I'm seeing is that people are still sticking to Fridays and Saturdays, but you never know with them not being able to get dates, everybody needing to reschedule. It's very possible that they could go on a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday.
It sounds like the best idea is just to, talk to your wedding planning team like yourself to try to get things organized. Is that true?
Yeah, I would say this is the most crucial time, and this is kind of showing people why it's so important to have a wedding planner. I think that that's super important at this time, because we are reaching out to vendors. We're making this stress-free as much as we can for the brides and grooms.
So that's everything that a wedding planner such as your company would do, is they would handle all that, because you realize what's happening. Instead of the bride and groom having to make these phone calls, that would be your job.
Right. It just kind of takes the middleman out of it. You ask any questions that you have for your vendors or anything like that. It's a one point of contact, and it makes it so much easier on the couple, and it makes it easier on the vendors as well, because then they just have one person that they're going through.
All right. And what your wedding planner can help you make a backup plan, things like that, everything all inclusive in that. Now, Mariah, people are saying to themselves, I should have done this. I need to do this. Can they still get a hold of you and make these arrangements?
Definitely. Yep. I'm still guiding couples through it. Definitely give me a call, shoot me an email if you have questions, just general questions. I'm always here to help. That's what I'm here for.
Okay. What is your number, and what's the best website to go to?
Yep. So website's www.eventswitheden.com. And then the phone number is actually on my website, and there's tons of chat options as well on our websites.
All right. Absolutely perfect. Mariah Burkhead, thank you so much for talking to us and putting smiles on people's faces again today, saying, hey, the wedding can still happen with your assistance. You stay healthy, my friend.
You too.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much. It is 7:20 right now. Don't go too far. When we come back, we are